And welcome to the program where we make fun of sales training and promotional films of the past. My name is Jason Reid. I am here along with my co-host, Chris Mei. And Chris, we have a film today that sells something that really doesn't need selling anymore.
No, it doesn't. And we were talking off camera a moment ago that this was almost like we're looking back to, if we were looking back to the Big Bang. I mean, it's theoretical. The Big Bang of our universe, where everything just life suddenly sprung out across and created the universe. We're looking back today at essentially the Big Bang moment of the internet.
It is. This is when it just started. And imagine a film that basically gets kids to sell the idea of the internet to their parents. And little do either the kids or the parents know how this is going to totally and completely change their world.
Well, they make mention that this is the greatest thing and my life has changed. They don't have a clue what is about to come. And this is where, if you watch carefully, you're likely going to pick up a lot more than even we picked up what they're talking about and just how purely and innocently naive it sounds when you consider where we are this deep into the 21st century with the World Wide Web.
Exactly. So we're going to riff the film as always, then we're going to come back and do a bit of a review. So get ready for screechy modems, slow loads, crappy graphics, and really pathetic music as we take a look at the kid's guide to the internet.
We're riding on the internet, cyberspace, sex-free.
Sex-free? That's not the internet I know.
That's not the internet that I'm familiar with. That can't be the internet.
Get online. Take a spin, now you're in with the techno set. You're going surfing on the internet.
And I'm sure the family actually lives in that house.
I love how it opens up like an afternoon sitcom.
It's us again. This is my brother Peter, mom and dad, and I'm Dasha.
And we spend so much time indoors, we are the whitest people in the neighborhood.
The basics of the internet.
They're not just white, they're clear. They're essentially translucent.
Now here's a little background. When we installed internet access,
man, they need to invest in a mic for that guy.
Involved.
It's true. Everybody had their own tasks to do.
Because he sounds like he's in another room.
Worth it.
Now that I've gotten on the internet, I'd rather be on my computer than doing just about anything.
It's really
That's healthy.
Hey, that
The
sounds
internet
healthy.
gave us a whole world of exciting new possibilities. So I guess this is a story of how it changed our lives. Maybe it will yours too.
As Rich told you, we installed the internet on our computer just a short time ago, and I haven't been able to get the kids off it ever since.
That's going to be a problem for the rest of your life.
Enjoy, but their curiosity for learning has skyrocketed.
Yes, Peter's particularly curious about something called
He can
furries.
tell you the best surfing spots around the globe.
Not to mention the improvement in Peter's
Why do they keep
grades.
hacking
And
on the
Dasha's
daughter?
too. Having the internet in our home has had a great impact on our lives. Rich keeps up with the stock market and our investments, and I'm able to pay the bills in half the time it used to take me.
Apparently, she used to just pay the bills by hand going to each utility company.
Which makes me happy, as I would sure like them to go to college someday.
That was a natural read. I would sure like them to go to college someday.
And it's not just for
He was
boys
like in the back of his
either.
mind, he was like, I'm never going to be able to afford this.
Entertain you and take you to far-off locations and meet new people.
And at the end of the tape, I'll be back to tell you
The
how to
best part is you
safeguard
don't
your
have to go
computer
anywhere.
so
You
that
just
can
stay in your
reduce
boring
concerns
home.
about the kinds of websites your children can visit. You never can be too careful.
And to help out.
Can you imagine if COVID happened back then? How hamstrung we'd be?
Yeah.
With how slow the
How
internet
slow
was.
the internet would be?
Come on in.
At least back in 1918, they had a world war that they could involve themselves with. Like, this era would have been mess.
What's up?
Here's the backwards kids from next door with their stripes.
You guys to college.
You know what it reminds me of? South Park, the way that they have the Canadians come in and they're like blockheads and they're not exactly the same, but kind of the same.
Tell about the games and stuff.
Even though we know that's what
We need
you
to
really
separate
wanted.
families here to make sure who's
I'll
who.
call her. Now, you make sure Dasha and Peter show you how they've done some of their school reports and not all that Cybernet stuff, okay?
All that Cybernet stuff, Chris.
Cybernet.
Stop it with the
Isn't that-
Cybernet
Take the
stuff.
spin, now
Stop
you're in
it.
with
No
the
more
techno set.
Cybernet.
You're going surfing on the internet.
Okay, guys, the first thing that you need to know is that the internet is amazing and it's changing every day.
That's how I describe myself.
Online yourselves, you'll start
You
seeing
do
web
that all the
pages
time,
everywhere.
actually. I've noticed
TV
that.
shows have them.
You're very
schools,
bold
Disney
that
World,
way.
even the White House.
What's a web page? Something ducks walk on?
Ha ha, very funny. No, it's the name of the different sites you can look up on the internet.
Hold on, sis. Let's start
Hold on,
with
sis. We
something
don't want to
my
hear
dad
from the
did with
girl.
us. So Andrew and
You
Lisa
wanna
will be
listen
able
to
persuade
me.
their parents about the internet with some important facts.
Good idea, Peter, but where do we start?
Let's start with the basics first.
And then we'll forget about the basics and have to restart with them, in 10 minutes again.
Surfing? That sounds pretty cool already.
And we'll dial
Yeah,
back
don't worry,
around,
Mom. Go on,
and
Peter.
get to the
Then there are
basics
news
eventually.
groups to share
But with mom and
information
dad
with
gone,
people.
let's
And
do
then
the
there's
fun
email.
stuff.
Email. I heard that's really neat. My cousin has.
Yeah,
a
you won't think
pen
it's so
pal
neat when you're
and they
getting
write back
200 a
and forth and it
day.
transmits right away. It doesn't cost anything.
That there is the
You can even
truth.
talk with people all over the world on chat lines.
Don't they have
That's
chess
safe.
games and stuff like
Oh,
that, too?
absolutely,
Yep.
kids.
They got more
You're going to
stuff than
love
you can
chat lines. You get to
imagine.
talk to
So,
people who
where
claim to
should we
be
start?
somebody, but they're not actually that person.
Let's start with web pages. So first you need to know that everything on the internet has an address, and all web addresses start with http://.
I hope we can put that guy in prison who figured out this is how every website had to be put in for like the first 40 years of the internet.
And the
It
next
was
thing
it was
you'll
like
type
learning
will
how
be
to code
specific.
just to call
Directing
something
you
up.
to a particular website, like MTV. Or you can just
See,
surf
they've
the
already
net
gone away
using a
from
search
school.
engine
Done.
that
We're
will
right on to
locate
MTV.
information on any
Which
topic
I
you
think
can
back
think
then
For
played
instance,
music.
I used the World Wide
They
Web
played
to
music
search the
videos. Yes,
archives
they
of the
did.
Smithsonian
Good
Museum a
memory,
few weeks
Jason.
ago.
Yes, it was a long time
I
ago,
also
but they
had to
did.
do a homework assignment about the Wright brothers for a history assignment.
Can you show us what you found?
According to these people, the Wright brothers never existed.
Look at these arrows. This is Area 51. This is where they keep the space capsules.
Oh man, the internet was slow back then.
And very boring. It was hardly worth it.
This music is highly appropriate.
It is. It's like Muzak. And the internet
Oh,
back
is that
then
the
was like the
first player
Muzak
Wright
of
brothers
entertainment.
flew?
Yup, they called her the Kitty Hawk.
So that means we
Hey,
can visit
kids,
most
don't
any
look up
museum
Kitty
in the
Hawk
world
on the
without
internet
even leaving
today.
home. Not just museums. You can go anywhere on the net and access resources from around the corner or to the most remote regions of the
Yes,
world.
Now
resources.
that's amazing.
So where else
Is
can
that
we
what
go?
they're calling? Oh, that's what they were
Wanna
calling
write
it
a
back
letter
then.
to
Resources
President
means something
Clinton?
completely
Will he
different
answer
today.
us?
I bet he would.
Let's tell him how much we love the internet and that he should try to get more computers for our schools.
But how do we even look up the White House?
You type www.
You just go to Google. Oh, wait a minute. Too soon?
He also missed the http://. He wouldn't have been able to find the White House.
I think they were starting to run out of time for this video.
It looks just like it does in our history books. Only a
Yeah, remember books, kids? You've still got them. You can
Is this
still
like
use them.
sending email?
It is sending email.
Get with the program,
Dear
kid.
Mr. President, my name is Peter, and my sister is Dasha.
Please send
Our
pictures of
friends
Dasha.
Lisa and Andrew
And Lisa.
came over today. Sincerely,
Okay, that
Andrew, Lisa,
Oh, President Clinton.
and Dasha.
How we can
Wow,
make fun
that's
of you
really
now.
neat, but how can we get the internet
That
on
is
our
just
computer
so
at home?
90s.
You're going surfing on the internet.
Oh, hey, the
Remember how
basics.
Dad said we should start with the basics first?
And remember how we
That's true.
forgot?
Well, to get started, you'll need to get connected to the internet. You do that through an internet service provider.
Remember how we
An
did?
internet service provider.
An
What's
internet
that?
service
It's
provider.
a service that connects you to the internet through
It's
special
providing the
super
service
high-speed
that
lines.
is the internet.
Your
It's
parents or
written
teachers
right
can help
there
you
in the
figure this
title.
out for you.
The easiest way is to use an online service provider. They give you free
Oh,
apps to
gosh.
install, and it only takes a few minutes.
It's going
until
way
you're
over my
online,
head,
and we can do
Dasha.
it
Way over
ourselves.
my head.
Yeah. You'll be led through a series of screens. for
She
the
always is
installation
the
of
one that screws
software.
up.
They make it simple, and they even have a helpline if you get stuck.
And this is the music you'll hear when you call that helpline.
And then it'll only play for 3 minutes, and then it'll just abruptly loop
You'll
back
need
to
to
the
type in
beginning.
your name, address, and credit card information. Be
Yes,
sure to ask
don't
your folks
forget your
for
credit
permission
card
to use it.
information because everyone wants you to enter that. It's safe over the internet.
Yes, and put in, by all means, show your password.
But the one thing we learned is that if your computer is having other problems, make sure you get them fixed first. Otherwise, if you're having problems when you're installing your internet disk, you won't know where they're coming from.
So we
And you won't know where your identity's gone.
immediately.
Does your computer have a modem?
I think so. My grandpa bought it for us. It has all the latest high tech.
And Grandpa knows tech.
Sounds like it should be pretty
Yeah,
easy
if
for
your
you
grandpa
then.
bought it, then
But
no,
you might
we
get
don't
your
have a
folks to
modem.
help, just to make sure everything's working okay.
Yeah, because I remember when Dad installed
Grandpa
ours,
came
he
in with
backed up
2
all
soup
of our
cans
computer
connected
data.
by a
So that
string.
if there was
String.
a problem, it wouldn't get lost. And then there was something about fragments.
I got your modem.
That's right. Dad had to defragment the disk too. I'm not really sure what that is, so you better get an adult.
Grandpa provided his own screeching sounds.
Yeah, the
Guys,
defragging
Annalise's
kid, no one
mom's
actually knows what the hell that
husband,
ever was.
Thanks, Mrs. Jameson.
Oh, you're welcome, Andrew. So, did you learn anything important today?
Are you kidding? I can't go another day
Hell no,
without
we
the
learned
internet.
nothing.
Peter showed me how to look up all the information I need on my school project.
Self-satisfied Peter.
Great.
We looked up school stuff and MTV. It was really cool.
Well, good. I'm glad you got some of the important stuff done before you went to the games and MTV, Dasha.
Yeah, like blame Dasha for
Of
that.
course, it was Dasha's problem. A, they don't care about her grades. B, apparently she's going off with surfer dudes
I'm sure
and
your
just
folks will get
browsing
it for you
MTV
soon
in her
enough. I know
short
we
skirt
just
and high
haven't.
socks.
The kids are on it all the time between
God.
their homework and games, and I use it for new
She's only the
recipes and
brains in the
gardening tips.
operation.
And Mr. Jameson gets up-to-the-minute stock reports, and I...
Yeah, I'm sure Mr.
on
Jameson
and
late at night
You
is
better get going
getting his
before your
up-to-the-minute
mom
stock
wonders what
reports.
you're doing.
I think Mr. Jameson has a bottle by that very name that he's
Absolutely.
surfing
See on
the internet
net.
with at night,
Call
I'm
me
sure.
The minute you get an email address.
Okay. And Andrew, we can play interactive games on the net together.
And we'll never have to see each other again. Bye.
You're going surfing on the internet.
As a parent, I've never been happier than when my children ask their friends over for an internet computer party. I'd like to add a word about safety, though.
Oh,
You have
please
to
do.
remember the internet is not a regulated environment.
Nor
so the
will it ever
quality
be.
and accuracy of various informational offerings can differ quite a bit.
It can differ.
There may even
People
be a
can
concern
lie.
if your children should access some of them.
Advertisements are
So,
completely
go
fake and
online
phony.
with them on the net. Or set your Microsoft Internet Explorer browser to only accept G-rated sites.
Well, how did our kids do as cyber teachers?
That
Good.
works until your kids
Stars,
figure
of
out how
course.
to
Oh,
get
but honey,
into
did
the
you know you
internet
could
and
dissect a
trip that
virtual
open.
frog on the internet? Ooh. Oh, did you get those Rolling Stone concert tickets? And the whole family can go, right?
The Rolling Stones are
Buy
family
tickets
friendly,
online.
right? Nothing bad has ever
what do
happened
you
at any
think,
of their
kids?
concerts.
Yeah.
Hashtag Altamont.
See you on the net.
And so, Chris, you know, as we saw with that film, it's kind of fun because it's a very naive view of the internet. Just
Yeah.
so early in this technology, these people, again, as we said at the beginning, have no idea how this is going to change their lives.
And it's going to change their lives in a myriad of ways. They touched on a couple of things. I can now do all my banking online. Well, essentially, and the husband allegedly is taking care of the stock markets. Well, as a result of being able to, like work on the stock market and take care of your portfolio. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry and Chris Mei has an opportunity to do it himself, and that has completely changed the entire methodology of trading shares. That entire industry has completely changed as a result of everybody being able to get their hands in on it, and that's not even getting into social media, which, again, Dasha mentioned. It's really cool. We can even go out and explore far-off places. Well, now those far-off places have the exact same advantages that we do, and they're posting online as well.
Yes, and you know, Peter being curious about things online obviously has a totally different meaning to us because any sort of weird thing that you can think of is now on the internet. So if you're curious about anything, no matter how strange, you can find it.
How out there, how bizarre, it's there.
Exactly. So here's what I like to do, Chris. I like to kind of play a game, and this is a more recent video, so this is actually a game that we can play. I actually looked up the actors who were in this short film, and by the way, I want to give a shout out to all of them because it looks like this was basically for almost every single one of them their very first screen credit. And you know, Chris, because you've done some film acting, and so have I. How terrifying it is. I mean, it's exciting, but it's terrifying, that first day on the set. And it's got to be even more challenging when you're doing a video like this that's, let's face it, it's not exactly Citizen Kane. So,
no,
your character and everything else is very limited, and the dialogue is going to be wooden. So I looked back and I actually found out one of these actors actually has a whole bunch of screen credits. I say a whole bunch, about 15, and has been in a couple of TV series and such.
But just one?
Just one of the actors.
Oh, okay.
There's a second actor who was in 4 or 5, but there was one who was actually pretty successful and actually had a career. So I want to play this game with you and also with the viewers at home and trying to figure out which actor this was. So let's remind you of who we have. So we have the clueless dad.
Right.
We have, the pretty wholesome mom.
Yeah, very naive mom.
Yeah. We have Peter.
Take charge, Peter.
Take charge, know-it-all Peter. Then we have Dasha, who gets blamed for everything.
But is the brains in the operation.
Absolutely. She's smarter than anybody else. And then, of course, we have the neighbor's kids. Andrew, who is, I actually love him. I mean, he's got some cheesy lines, but you can tell he's having so much fun.
He's the kid that they used for the wisecracks. He's the kid that dealt with that 6 to 8 year old demographic, and he played it really well. I know. The other thing about stayed lines like that, again, going back to you and I having to do, you've done commercials, I've done commercials, is when you have a cardboard cutout sort of delivery that the directors are asking for from you, and you have to do it over and over and over again.
Oh yeah.
It starts to become staler and staler. But the kid had a good look. I liked his look.
And then finally, we also had Lisa, who actually had a lot of lines, who actually did a lot of explaining. She was kind of the reactive one of the group, kind of reacting to Peter. So of those 6 actors, who do you think was the most successful with 15 IMDb credits?
I'm going to have to go with the dad. Even though he bailed, I got to go with the dad. There was just something about his voice, his timbre, his confidence level. I'm going to say the dad. Well,
believe it or not, the one who was most successful was Lisa.
No way.
Yeah. Lisa Corincione, I think is how you pronounce her name. And there's actually a more recent picture of her. She's got 15 acting credits on IMDb, including some well-known television series. She's also a producer, a dancer, so she's still working in entertainment.
That is awesome. Congratulations, Lisa. That is brilliant. A working actress. That's great.
Yeah, and the person who ended up in second place was Mom. Her name's Anne Hewligard. She's been in 4 or 5 different things. She's now a real estate agent. And, if you were involved in this video and you're watching this through the miracle of the internet, of course, we would love to hear from you. So, drop a line to the YouTube comments, or you can send us an email at feedback@cheezysalescinema.com. We'd love to hear about your experiences.
Matt, this was a lot of fun. You know what? Jason and I have a lot of fun with these. I know we always open up by saying, we riff on, or we rip on, or we tear apart these. We do it because we love them so much. We find the fun, we find the nuances, we find what makes them unique, and then we just shine a really bright spotlight on it. And we'd love it if you were with us every week, every Thursday, when we post a brand new one.
So join us again next time. For Chris Mei, I'm Jason Reid. See you soon.
Which makes me happy, as I would sure like them to go to college someday.